While many people focus on bugging out or bug out bags, that may not be the best option depending on your general location or if you're just trying to make it for a few days. So what we're going to do is, for today's focus, we'll be talking about at-home survival kits and just some base necessities if you're going to have to bug in for a while. Now, one of the things you will need, of course, food, water, and shelter, is non-perishable food items for a bug-in situation. I'll name a couple things that you might want to pick up when you're out and about. So for a start, we'll talk about beef jerky, canned tuna, canned fruits and vegetables, beans, canned soup, nuts, peanut butter and jelly, dried fruit, protein bars. Don't forget powdered milk, rice, syrup, pancake mixes, sugar, flour. These things are all things that you'll need. Some of them have a longer shelf life than others, but ultimately, it's okay to stock up every now and then when you go to the store. Now, we can't forget camping stoves. These are a necessity, whether it's butane, propane, wood, alcohol. Doesn't really matter which one you get, as long as the fuel source you have access to, you're able to get more, and this depends on your geographic location and what's near to you. So look around and figure out which one's the most beneficial for you. It could even be wood pellets. But in order to cook the food that you need, and believe me, these are worth their weight in gold in a stuff hits the fan situation. Getting a hold of a good cutlery set and something that's enough for you and your family. This is important because there's no point in having all that food, especially if you have a camping stove and you don't have any utensils. So you can find these generally at any of your stores. You could order them on Amazon or even pick up a couple sets at the dollar store. Just something to keep around in case of emergencies, because you never know when you're going to need them. Now, this one seems like a given, but you would be absolutely amazed to find out how many people don't have a good old-fashioned hand crank can opener. One of the things you wouldn't necessarily think about in the stuff hits the fan situation, but with all those non-perishable items, who knows when you're going to need one? And to be honest, buy 2 or 3 just to be safe. Once again, you could purchase these at many stores, Amazon, or the dollar store. Now also be sure to have a water supply. On average, you want to have 1 gallon per person per day with a 3-day minimum. Whether you get it through water bottles or whether you get it through 5-gallon jugs or even 1-gallon jugs. This is of the utmost importance because you can't last very long without water. It came in a little later on the list, but of course, better late than never. But please remember, water is life. Now, another thing you can find in the camping section, water purification tablets. These are also good to have. There are other ways to purify water, of course, but just to have a couple on hand, because you never know when your water supply could run out and you're forced to go get water from a different location. Nothing better than having some water purification tabs on hand. But remember, there are other ways to purify your water. I always keep a few gallons of bleach around. One, for a disinfectant if you need to clean up things or anything that may go wrong in the house, but also for water purification. If you need to clean some dirty water, then you can actually put 16 drops per gallon for water purification and to keep water clean. But once again, that's why I recommend the water purification tabs. Boiling, there's many different ways you can do it, but also keep bleach around as a disinfectant and a cleaner. Now, one of my favorite things to have just for emergency purposes is a portable hand crank or solar powered, battery powered radio. But if you're going battery powered, you want a lot of extra batteries, which we'll get into here in just a second. But the fact that it's solar powered and hand crank, that works out. Has SOS signal, flashlight. It works, and it could charge up some of your objects just in case you need to make an emergency call if services aren't down. And tools. Now, these are of the utmost importance also. You never know when you'll need a good tool to fix something, put something up, board up a window, shut off the water supply to make sure that things are properly fixed, or to avoid extra damage to property. So get a couple tools while you're out. You never know when they'll come in handy, and also you could find them in various places. Also, if need be and you're on a budget, you can grab a couple decent multi-tools that you can find floating around. Now, we can't forget the first aid kit. But when you grab a first aid kit, be sure that it comes with things like gloves. Of course, you're going to have your bandages. Make sure it has things like antibacterial cream, burn cream, different things, because you never know what you're going to run into. You can find many different types of first aid kits, but the more extensive, the better. Bandages, gauze, things you never know you might need. But stock up or get it piece by piece when you go out to the store. Now, some things I know that we all have laying around the house, but could stock up on a little more of when you get the chance, is hygiene items. Things like lotions, hand sanitizers, toothpaste, toothbrushes, deodorants. Believe me, in a stuff hits the fan situation, one, you're going to need them, but two, even simple things like being able to wash your hands and face and clean yourself up boost the morale. And when you boost the morale, you are going to boost and put yourself in a better mental situation. So please don't forget that even though it just may be a few products, and of course women, stock up on your hygienic products too. But always remember, survival isn't just about the things you have. It's about the mental and the morale. For those who have children, stock up on things like baby formula, diapers, wipes, baby oils, bottles, things of that nature that you know are going to be essential for the safety and providing for your child. So it's always good to have a couple of extra things if you can afford to. You know, even diaper rash cream, things like that, you never know what you're going to need, especially if it's in a cold climate or just regardless. Taking care of the children, being the future, is one of the utmost responsibilities for a parent. So remember, stock up on a couple extra things to ensure your child's safety. A mirror and survival whistle are a great thing to have, whether you're inside or you're bugging out. Now, the whistle, of course, can attract people from far away in order to let people know that you need help and draw attention to yourself for safety purposes or rescue purposes. Now, if you can't get a hold of the whistle or the person's too far away, you'd be amazed what a little reflective light can do off of a mirror and how far that'll travel to get someone's attention. So once again, try to get them as a combo, or if you have the chance, be sure you have a reflective surface around to get people's attention. Now, having a decent pair of extra clothes always helps out, especially once again in one of those situations, because you never know if you'll get wet, something will happen. And who wants to catch hypothermia in the cold? But also being wet brings down the morale. So in a realistic situation, having on some nice, clean, dry clothes can ultimately alter your mood, altering your potential for survival. So remember, keep them around not only for cleanliness, but your overall mental. Now, along with extra clothes, it's always nice to have an extra pair of shoes and a sturdy pair of hiking boots if need be. Even though we're talking about bugging in, who wants to walk around in wet shoes? Not to mention that after your feet are wet for so long, it can encourage peeling and infection. So therefore, it's always nice to have an extra pair just to be able to slip something on, because once again, comfort always helps the morale, and morale always helps with survival. Now, next on the list is a sleeping bag or a warm blanket. Once again, you never know when you're going to need it, even if you're in a hot climate. It's always nice to have something that's comfortable. Even though it's a situation you may not want to be in, but why risk your comfort? Might as well get something that'll keep you warm and protect you also from any creepy crawlies that may be floating around. So remember, a good sleeping bag is definitely worth its weight in gold. Now, this is for the people who may have other needs. For instance, glasses, contacts, contact solution. Remember to stock up on things like hearing aid batteries or extra medications that you may need, because if you run out, I don't think you're going to be able to get any until rescue happens or things get better. So it's always good to pack up on extra medications if you have them. And in a bug-in situation, you never know when it's good to have a tarp. A tarp can be used for a couple things. You never know if a window's going to break or you're going to have a leaky roof that you can't repair right away. So having a tarp around, or even a few of them, will come in handy to prevent any extra damage occurring when getting in, blocking off a door. There's many things it can be used for. So pick up a couple tarps if you have the chance. You never know when you're going to need them. Now, having cooking stoves and things like that is important, but also remember to have matches just in case you need to light a candle or a light source. But once again, that's why I kind of go for battery powered and battery operated things, because it's a little easier to keep your light source going. But strike anywhere matches, things that can seal and keep water out, keep your matches dry, these are always a good thing to have. And once again, another important item: plastic bags of various sizes. You want to make sure you don't just have one size bag. So if you need to put clothes in them, food, herbs, spices, different things you'll need require, of course, different size bags. So if you can, get a couple different size bags and make sure that they can seal so it'll protect your goods from water. Always another good thing to think about. And just in case if you have to seal up any form of waste, you can just seal it up and get rid of it. Garden lime. Many people don't think about it, but it's good to have around. One, it'll help treat waste. If you have to use the bathroom out towards wherever you're going to do so, sprinkle some lime on it. It'll help it break down, and also is good to discourage bugs from coming around. So once again, garden lime works pretty well. Now, even though we're speaking of basic necessities, me personally, I have a few solar generators in different sizes and different wattages. Now, these are great to have, but not a necessity in a stuff hits the fan situation, due to the fact that some of them are pretty pricey and you can buy them at good, decent price points. So always shop around, because you never know when you'll need a little extra power or that extra boost just in case for an emergency. So if you can't afford, I definitely look into them, do some studies, and find out which one's best for you. Many of these things can go into a bug out bag, but this is what I recommend for an at-home survival kit. Things that will greatly increase your chances of survival in a stuff hits the fan situation, especially when you're bugging in, because sometimes bugging out isn't the best option. And always remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. A New Breed signing out.